contest. That's the English section down there, and that's Castle Corner. Castle Corner, the famous little corner that is used by the Barrackers of South Africa. They'll be hoping for good news today. This is the first ball. He's operating from the Randwick end, and umpire Steve Randall is down that end with him. Umpire Randall from Australia, officiating at the Randwick end. And it's past outside edge. Gooch is on strike. He's out there with Ian Botham. This is Donald. Quick delivery, flies off the outside edge. And back comes the ball from third man. So
he's a good competitor. He's not happy. He's probably a bit sore. He's looking on.
That he would put England in. They like thick edge there.
5 over maximum for South Africa because they only allowed England's
bat. And the news from England's point of view, the bat.
Mastering his troops out there at the SCG. All the time he needs.
So 10-15 is the top time. So really they're still, if they're able to get very wide outside off stump. Randall has a good look at that one.
On their way with 2 runs to Brussels. 5 over maximum for South Africa because they only allowed England 45.
So, and finally, just got on the knees, Kirsten, pitch, middle, hit off, and that's what a fast bowler dreams about.
Tremendous pressure out there now. Both these teams, England pulled themselves together to South Africa.
Umpires like umpire Randall are bound to jump on you very quickly. That's exactly what he did. So 2 on the board now.
Donald's going flat out. The idea from the South African camp is to get 2 or 3 early wickets. So Donald, who's the express bowler in their attack, will not worry too much about the odd wide. He'll try and knock over Botham, Gooch and Stewart early on. That would be the plan in the South African camp. Early wickets are so important.
In the air and wide there. If that had been a third slip, he would have taken a catch. However, a good delivery, and I can tell you that Botham didn't know much about it. It went flying off the outside of his bat so fast that the third man couldn't cut it off.
On their way with 2 runs to Brussels. 5 over maximum for South Africa because they only allowed England 45. And no shortage of tension here at the Sydney Cricket Club.
And she has deflated superbly this over. And finally, just got on the knees, Kirsten, pitch, middle, hit off.
Mastering his troops out there at the SCG. All the time he needs just to make sure his field is in the right positions. Bit more to look to focus out at Gooch's wicket. As Ian Botham comes in. Rhodes a squirrel touch of being a good competitor. He's not happy, he's probably a bit sore, but he took him on. That's right, he's had to go for it. He's come down wicket in the first place. He's given himself a yard start. Not a very good throw in there from Mark Bushwell, wide. He had pace on the throw. He needed more accuracy and more pace if he's going to put Jamie Reid under proper pressure. Chris Wallace, a big hitter of the ball. He's looking to go over the top here. Straight down the ground, well struck. There's an error on that very straight. That's the single.
Fast.
5 over maximum for South Africa because they only allowed England. Said to be mastering his troops out there at the SCG.
10-15 is the time. Outside off stump again, and all the Englishmen in the ground shouting for another wide. This is not a good start for South Africa. Have a look at them up there. Got themselves all painted up for the occasion. Messages all over the place for folks at home. they want England to win or what? Well bowled. That's a better delivery. Nice and straight. That's the end of a long first over. No wicket for 8. No wicket for 18. So 2 overs have been bowled, and that's the score. What a disastrous start this is for the South Africans. Now Donald's going to have to fix this. He's going to have to slow up a bit and bowl straight. Much better.
Both teams pumped up. You can tell the batsman keen to get on with it. Donald trying to bowl 100 mile an hour, just lacking a bit of control in his first over. But the South Africans, by winning the toss and electing to bowl, will want early wickets. Try and get into the middle order. See Donald there taking a deep breath. He's certainly quite fast. He's obviously going to be a magnificent test cricketer over 5 days when you can go flat out with the bounce and the short pitch deliveries. But in the one-day internationals, he has to just get his line right. Fingers down the seam. He runs. He's a magnificent athlete.
It's the very quick bowler. The edge again down towards third man. This time Hansi Cronje picks it up because it was straight to him. Oh, what ball being appealed there for Claude Bryan. He's given him out. He's given him out. That did look back. Cooch is on his way. Well, he might have bowled a few wides, but I tell you what, he's not a bad bowler. That is a quick delivery, lit back, didn't hit the inside edge. Gooch didn't look very happy. The South Africans have struck.
Well, didn't hit the inside edge, that's the question. Seemed to hit him on the pad on the way through of the thigh. Seemed to miss the bat by a long way. Big shout from Rick, they're excited from the South Africans. That's fair enough, but I think that might have been a rough decision. It's 1 for 20.
In the air and over the top. Well, if you really have a go at them, it hits the edge. The chances are it's going to go for 4, especially if there's a bit of bounce in the wicket. That's exactly what happened here. Not a bad delivery at all.
He's gone. Eric Pringle has troubled Ian Botham, beaten him a couple of times outside off stump, and finally he's been rewarded.
Eric Pringle has really settled down after some lower deliveries early on in his spell. And he's had Botham and Alex Stewart in trouble, and here he just gets one to nip back, and Botham on the cut drags it on, just clips off stump. And Eric Pringle very excited about that. England in a little bit of trouble now, having lost 2 wickets, 2 for 39.
Could be pretty close. Umpire Aldridge isn't over keen on giving LBWs. Kepler Wessels really had a heart attack there at first look. He thought he had the third one. Graham Hick has got the benefit of the doubt in a very, very close decision there for LBW. So that's basically the rules as far as cricketers are concerned. You usually reckon that it's going to even out. Mind you, at the time when you get a bad one, that's not exactly the way you think. Especially not when you're back in the pavilion. Edged and taken by Kepler Wessels, but no ball is called. So he's having a charmed life. Graham Hick.
Eric Pringle will want to shoot himself here. Now he's got Graham Hick in trouble once again. He just gets the ball to leave him, and great delivery straight to Kepler Wessels, but the umpire's called no ball.
I would have thought that at the moment the little bit of drizzle out there would favour the batting side, make it very difficult for the bowlers. And man at mid-off fielding that ball, wiping it for Merrick Pringle. Pringle has got a little towel there himself. And I would have thought it would be favouring the batting side. Every reason to stay out there. The other thing you noticed there, the ball really flying away, and that would be because of the little bit of rain on the top of the grass. The ball really skidded off, flew to Jonty Rhodes.
So Jonty Rhodes gets the ball really flying to him there, but he's so quick and back up on his feet again, and there's no trouble to him. But he was just shielding his face earlier from the bit of drizzle that's coming down. It's unpleasant.
Well bowled, and this one bounces short of Kepler Wessels. Not having a lot of luck, Merrick Pringle. It's 2 for 44 after 10. is fractionally short, and it just drops inside the boundary. That's a big shot. It looked at one stage as if it would carry all the way.
This is a great shot from Alex Stewart, very quickly onto the back foot. This time Brian McMillan has dropped too short. Alex Stewart has dragged this from outside the off stump. Hit it a long way down the member stand. Just bouncing inside the fence.
So the partnership between these two continues to blossom. 2 for 95. So a partnership between Stewart and Hick, which has already added 56 runs off 65 deliveries, now beginning to give England the type of base from which they can build a very big total. South Africa needing a wicket here, needing to separate these two. England with a specialist batting lineup which ends at number 6, Alan Lamb. There are a number of all-rounders on the side. Lewis, Reeve and De Freitas. But the South Africans now really need a wicket.
And that's right, even if they do get that wicket, Neil Fairbrother's been in good form, and Lamb is a very good one-day player. The all-rounders Lewis and Reeve, they've done their damage in this competition at various times as well. So England happily placed. 2 for 95 off 18. And the current rate of progress, England currently scoring at over 5 and over in any case. Of course, if they maintain that, they'll be well over 250. And that won't be an easy target for the South Africans to chase.
Ball has been swinging around a bit, so there's a bit of encouragement for the bowlers. The batsmen have also handled it pretty well. That's a beautiful stroke. Feel away out on the extra cover boundary. Hudson. Coming up for England. Just going back to what Ian Chappell said, the way the ball has been moving out there, I would think the England dressing room is, if not in ecstasy, absolutely delighted with the way things have gone. Batting conditions are not at all easy out there. Sounded like two noises there, one off the inside edge and one onto the pad. Plus it was just going down leg side. Umpire Aldridge not really interested. Strikes me as an umpire who is not keen on giving a lot of LBWs. One of the New Zealand representatives on this World Cup panel, Steve Woodward being the other one. This has been a stiff examination for Graham Hick. Came in, was quarter for no ball, was perilously close to being LBW. Last year, England had problems with the ball moving off the seam in the air, and the one pitched a little short when the West Indies were his opponents. But after a modest start today, he's played very well indeed. Excellent running.
bowler didn't actually impede him. He did very well. It's 2 for 103. Very good shot. Stewart had already played a magnificent stroke of McMillan pulling away to good with the boundary. It's 2 for 110. Got him. Brilliantly done. David Richardson diving away to his right. That's a super catch. McMillan has broken through. Stewart goes. And South Africa badly needed that wicket.
He impresses me, David Richardson. Very good pair of hands. He's done some excellent work in this competition. Nothing any better than that. That was a very good catch and coming just at the right time for South Africa. Alex Stewart is gone. It's 3 for 110. Brian McMillan, having played on this ground previously, just letting Alex Stewart know which was the way back to the pavilion.
It's very tense here from South Africa's point of view. The bowlers, as you can see, and the spectators there, thoroughly enjoying it. The bowlers not enjoying it quite as much as the spectators, as they've been a little bit wayward, and England batting has got off to a real good start against our attack.
Smacked into the gap. Real brother with the left-hander up there. Wide throw. Yes, they've got a few problems, South Africa. They've got themselves a little bit behind in terms of the over rate.
Yes, the fielding's just a little bit wayward there, but it's, I think the pressure that suddenly these players are confronted with here, they've never ever been in a situation like this before, and have done extremely well to get into the semi-finals, and you can just see the pressure telling with them, with their bowling not being quite as accurate as it might be.
What happens in the big time, and that's a magnificent shot. Played away beautifully off his toes, flicking that one to backward square leg, right into the gap for 4.
This McMillan has been carrying that foot injury most of the week, where his Achilles has been fairly swollen. He's been a little bit wayward here, bowls at full toss just outside the leg stump, and Hick just latches onto that and clips it away for 4. Wessels is faced with a little bit of a problem here, in that he might have to get McMillan bowled through all his 10 overs so that his injury doesn't come back.
That's his 50. A little fumble there. Graham Hick takes a big sigh there, and out of their seats go the Englishmen. The Union Jacks are aloft. England are going to take some beating here tonight.
This Graham Hick BBC is 50 runs or 56 balls, and when you can think of that start that he got off to, where he was caught behind off a no ball and a very good LBW shout, he's been very lucky, but he's capitalised on that. He's batting brilliantly.
I think that's supposed to be a koala bear on the left, and some form of cockatoo on the right. Will bowl an appeal for LBW, a deflection from the wicketkeeper, and back for 2 leg byes, I'd say. This umpire Randall signalling the leg byes. Interesting to see where that pitched, probably just outside leg stump.
This umpire Randall here giving Fairbrother the benefit of the doubt, just pitching outside leg stump and flicking him on the pad and getting it past Richardson, who was busy appealing as well, and as a result the ball going through for 2 leg byes. Good decision by the umpire here.
Attempt of an off cutter, which comes through a little slower in his ordinary delivery.
It's Fairbrother here and getting in into good form, and the crowd is thoroughly enjoying this run spree that England are on. There you see some of the English supporters there, painted up. Must be a little bit cold in those outfits.
He's got that well square. That'll be 4. Good shot. Not a very good delivery, mind you. Cannot afford to bowl short, especially on a wicket like this one. They're hopping that one away down to square leg.
This Graham Hick here is in fine form. You can't afford to drop it short like that, and Adrian Caper is a little bit wayward, and he capitalizes on this one. Drags it down. There it goes. 4 runs. Graham Hick here is really showing the way and scoring at an extremely fast rate.
Last ball this. And a comfortable single down the middle off. They'll try and put a bit of pressure on the fieldsman, but that won't make too much difference. So that's the end of that over from Caper. 3 for 147. Looking down over that magnificent Sydney Harbour Bridge and over towards North Sydney. Up the northern beaches there. That's where all the surfers hang out. And the foreshore down there is nice real estate. It's hit into the ground and up into the air. Jonty Rhodes doing the fielding. A little jack in the box he is.
Hansie Cronje just dragging it down, and Jonty Rhodes jumping right up and plucking it out of the sky. And he's not content with that. It's off back to the bowler.
Good flying through there by the bowler. Hansie Cronje making sure there was no single there.
As Hansie Cronje followed through, and he's with him there, but Jonty Rhodes, Jonty's always in the action, and he's certainly been encouraging the South African team. He never stops. There you see him. He's always keen to help the other players and get them going.
He's beaten the outside edge there again.
Hansie, as the extra bowler, is doing a great job for South Africa, pulling back the scoring rate.
Let's just watch the seal of this ball as it goes down the wicket. It's quite easy to see with the white ball. The seam is actually quite dark. And Clive Rice mentioning that he's getting the ball to move around a bit. Probably because he's hitting the seam. Oops, and that one's spread away really down towards third man. Don't get too easily there. So good over. 3 from that one. 3 for 150. Clive, you've played against him. How quick is he by comparison with the really fast bowlers you've faced in England?
Well, I was fortunate or unfortunate enough to face him about 6 weeks ago, and he's as quick as anything that I've faced. When you face Michael Holding and players of that sort of calibre, Alan Donald is that similar sort of speed through the air, and where he is quite dangerous, he also swings it, and so when you think you've picked up the line, suddenly the ball's swinging away from you. You haven't got much time down that end to actually clip him away.
It'll be very interesting now to see if he can adjust to the left-hander. Fairbrother's on strike. He wanted one, but his partner very definitely didn't. And that's the way to call. If you're going to send your partner back, you've got to do it quickly. That's exactly what Hick did. And Fairbrother got the message.
Yes, Alan Donald here gets one up to Fairbrother. He's quite keen to get off the mark, but what a beautiful action Alan Donald does have. He's very, very lithe and loose, and he's very much like an athlete, sprinter. And what a quick bowler he really is.
Slightly forward. He comes charging in. And this has been a good over so far. That's bang on target.
The Caribbean Broadcasting Union will be taking this telecast here of the semi-final between England and South Africa, as well as we've been captivated by yesterday's between New Zealand and Pakistan.
It's falling just inside the boundary, got hold of it well enough, got it clear of the field, got it over mid-on, and straight enough that Deepman wicket couldn't get around.
Problems for a couple of vessels, and Neil Fairbrother has already played 2 good innings in this World Cup. Very important for him to do well on this tour. And he's 3 for 168 in 34.
This is 5th wide, in fact. He's not happy. Turing is spraying it and really trying as hard as Alan Donald is. Certainly can be quite exasperating. That's beautifully hit. That was 4 from the time it left the bat. There was a third man, he had absolutely no chance of getting around for it. Graham Hick showing the form which has gained him the reputation. Hasn't quite lived up to it in his international career so far, but this is a top innings after a shaky start.
There are some wonderful young cricketers around on the world scene at the moment, and Graham Hick is one of them. As Terry points out, hasn't quite lived up to his potential. Gained his record playing largely in county cricket when trying to qualify for England. But there was that lovely touch of class about his play, and no better example than that stroke away through extra cover.
We saw some shots yesterday from the young Pakistani Inzamam ul Haq over in Auckland at Eden Park. None were better than that. That certainly has been the shot of the day so far. He hit it cleanly, hit it hard, and found the gap. So 2 boundaries. The statistics on Graham Hick, 73. I say he started shakily. In fact, very first ball he received from Merrick Pringle, very close decision on an appeal for a leg before went his way. He was then dropped, correction, he was caught at first slip after the 3rd delivery he faced, but it was a no ball also from Pringle. And as so often happens, that kind of luck going your ways often means a big score.
One thing we do know about Hick today is that he's been well over the ball in playing his strokes square of the wicket on the offside. He's had 3 that have come off the bottom edge and have bounced away very, very high. So he's not playing them with the upward swing of the bat, but rolling his wrists over the top. I'll tell you another thing about him too. He's just closed the face of his bat a bit as he waits for the bowler to come in. In England last year it was very, very open.
Well, this really is high-class batting now by Graham Hick. He's gathering his runs in the orthodox fashion. The same thing yesterday we saw from Inzamam in that man-of-the-match performance for Pakistan. No slogging, just good, clean cricket shots.
The whole innings has been a delight to watch so far for the spectators here at the ground and for viewers. Three for 179. We're into the 35th over. 75 to Graham Hick and 28 to Fairbrother. Fairbrother has played a big part in this partnership.
Alan Donald will be thankful to get through that over. 14 runs coming off it, the most expensive of the innings, and England are through for 182. Even though we started this afternoon at about 20 to 3, very heavy overcast, and a bit of rain causing the delayed start for about 10 minutes.
At the halfway mark in this semi-final between England and South Africa, it was looking to me as though 275 was quite possible for England. They then had a bit of a hiccup, but now they've come back again, and it is possible. They've wickets in hand, 7 of them at the moment, and there are plenty of problems there for a couple of vessels who put England into bat.
So Mike Pringle has come back. He had a very good first spell, 6 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 20. Got the wicket of both of them. There is a question now as to whether England will have all 50 overs, which they were allotted at the start of their innings. There's still another 14 overs to go after this one, and just about 3/4 of an hour left for them to be got through. It looks as if South Africa are going to be short on the number of overs of 50.
That's as good a ball as we've seen all day. Mike Pringle bowled some absolute crackers early on. I have no idea how that missed.
He had a magnificent spell Lancaster Park and Christchurch against the West Indies on a pitch not dissimilar to this one. It was giving the cricket bowlers some assistance. And he destroyed the West Indies with 4 early wickets. There were 19 for 4 and never recovered. Dismissed for 146 in that match, and he's bowled really well again here.
Just to continue what Tony was saying about the possibility of South Africa falling short in their overs, 50 at the moment, the maximum for England, and we'll come to the playing condition in just a moment. That will be in the minds of these two batsmen too, Tony. They might realise already that they'll be short in the overs, so they'll have a dash at it probably 2 or 3 overs before it might normally be the case.
Yes, I think I spotted in the last couple of overs Hick and Fairbrother having a look at the scoreboard, and I think they do realise that they only have about 45 minutes left now.
And for one of them, it's even less than that. Neil Fairbrother, the man to go. Pringle deserved that as much as any bowler could deserve anything. It's been a very good exhibition of bowling in what has been something of a run glut for England. 4 for 183.
Coming back between a very large gate for the left-hander. He's brought the ball back into him earlier and absolutely sliced him in half. Now he just about sliced the stump in half. So 4 for 183 for another gun for 28. Change in bowling. Alan Donald has come off. And Richard Snell has come on.
This is what happened to Neil Fairbrother. Pringle once again has got the leg cutter to work. It's the in cutter to the left-hander. And it should give quite a nice sight on stump vision. Only for a moment though.
He's got to go a lot wider of that fielder if he wants to get it through.
It's just like Imran Khan's cornered tigers. Fight till the last moment. That's what the South Africans are doing at the moment. Everyone inside that circle, moving in with the bowler. Can't do much about that.
It's just about the perfect one-day shot. As Richie says, you just can't do anything about it. Keeper dived despairingly. Arms went up in the air and shoulders drooped. And the umpire's arm went out to signal 4. So 4 more to Hick. He's got 83 now. Top innings by him. And he's approaching his highest score in one-day internationals. Not anymore. Jonty Rhodes in the way. And anything close to him is going to be hauled down as he pulled that one down two-handed. And Graham Hick goes for 83. Tremendous innings by him. And I suppose Australians, even though they're not involved in this conflict, will point to the fact that the score is 187.
Isn't he a great fielder? Done some wonderful things, including that run out of into the run up in Brisbane. That was a super catch. Hick out for 83. A standing ovation for the England batsman. 5 for 187. Brilliant work from Jonty Rhodes. Richard Snell, the bowler. High and to his left. Didn't just go for it one hand, but judged it perfectly. And Chris Lewis, the man who had to pass a fitness test, and that was a fitness test on his bowling. They knew he was fit to field because he fielded brilliantly at the MCG the other day. But he had to get through a fitness test here before he'd be included in the final 11. So he will be able to take his full place in the side. Very important man in the England attack.
The New Zealanders we were mentioning earlier going to Barbados for the test match over the Easter weekend, and Barbados over that Easter weekend won't see Malcolm Marshall. In fact, international cricket will not see Malcolm Marshall on the field again. He's retired from international cricket following the World Cup. Great bowler. So Lamb gets off the mark. And Malcolm Marshall dropped from the West Indies team. In fact, he made the comment that he started as the 12th man in the West Indies team in his first series in India back in 1977-78, and finished off as 12th man at the MCG against Australia the other night. Reason given was that he had an ankle injury which kept him out of contention, which is strange when you consider that he played for Waverley here in the grade semi-final in Sydney yesterday and bowled 22 overs. Looking for 2 and getting them quite easily. Both batsmen here with injury problems. Alan Lamb has overcome his. He's played only the previous 2 matches. Chris Lewis with a side strain which has kept him from bowling. The South Africans will well remember tremendous innings which won the match for England along with Alex Stewart in the qualifying round at the MCG last week.
One thing I can guarantee you is that Alan Lamb will have his hamstrings stretched out there by Chris Lewis. He has a great record. He's played 116 matches, and that is an excellent average in limited overs cricket. We're talking about scores around about the 220-250 mark, and he averages 40, and his strike rate is 74, almost 75 runs per 100 balls.
Had a close look at that one. It was a little bit wide. Alan Lamb has got the reputation of not only being an outstanding batsman at test level, but perhaps even more so in the one-day variety. This is his 18th match in World Cup competition, his 3rd World Cup, and that very high average, over 50. Many batsmen have an average as high as that in one-day cricket. Oh, that's beautifully played. That's a lovely on drive. One of the most pleasing shots in cricket, and played pleasingly by Chris Lewis before. It's 5 for 194.
Just going back to the problem of the number of overs to be bowled, and a reminder that if the team batting first doesn't get the full 50 overs to which they're entitled by the scheduled time, the ending of the first session, the over in progress should be completed, and the innings of the team batting second is limited to the same number of overs. There'll be a call from umpire Randall. Yes, the full playing condition in the World Cup rules reads that if the side in the field in the first innings doesn't get through its full 50 overs, it only gets the same number of overs bowled to it. So we're into number 39 now, about half an hour to go.
Well, he certainly has put the bat to that one with good effect. I don't suppose you could say it was as orthodox a shot as his on drive for 4 in the previous over, but it gained him the same number of runs.
It's wide enough to be called to if Lewis hadn't got the bat on it. Both these fellows out there, Lewis and Lamb, are extremely good at both varieties of the game, the test match and the limited overs match, and you must be these days in international cricket if you're to get anywhere at all. Any international cricketer to be called by that name must be very, very good at both types of game. Lamb has the problem of going back, but can't do it.
Richard Snell has had difficulty today with when he's going to go back over the wicket. He came around for that delivery, but he's had real difficulty with not only his width but his length, but early on especially his width. He was very wide of off stump and he was cut away quite frequently, as he was by Lewis, but he's now gone back over the wicket. I don't know to give a certain why he would have gone around to Lewis just for that one delivery. The end of the over, it's 5 for 202.
It's good off the last 11 balls, England. He's coming back, Wills. Look at him go. Great running. Almost a double play, but excellent cricket by Wills. Chris Wills taking on the fieldsman. Superb athlete.
He is very, very quick between the wickets there. And he made his mind up almost immediately he was going to come back for 2 there. Good straight throw. Almost a decapitation there as the ball was thrown up to the keeper.
It's well placed, they'll look for 2 again.
Off the over so far, still 1 ball to go. Chris Lewis was even thinking about a 3rd run there, but he's a lot quicker than Alan Lamb. Something to do with age, something to do with the length of his legs, I think.
It's well played. Open runs off the over. 5 for 221.
Those are just about Alan Donald's most expensive figures in this competition.
It's gone, bottom edge. That's the break that South Africa needed, going for the square cut. It was wide enough to hit Lamb, getting a thickish bottom edge, and the wicketkeeper doing the rest.
Well, it was almost wide enough if Alan Lamb had missed it for the umpire to call wide, but he's just got a little bottom edge on that. Very unfortunate for Alan Lamb, just as he was starting to get into his stride there. And Alan Donald strikes with his first ball back.
Dave Richards again, no problem taking the catch. Adam Lamb goes for 19. England are 6 for 221. Alan Lamb, the victim of Alan McDonald's first ball that over. Not getting across to this ball. Just the bottom of the bat there being enough. The ball carrying straight through to Dave Richardson. Just off the tail end of the bat, and that's Alan Lamb unlucky almost to reach that ball.
The running is home. Excellent running. 6 for 223. Full house, plenty of excitement. The lights taking effect now on the Sydney Cricket Ground. It's quite a dull evening. Bernard Reid with nothing to do but go after the bowling. Looks just keyed up, very anxious to get it. Alan Donald. No ball.
Well, there were a few extras early in the innings. Alan Donald was guilty earlier of bowling the odd wide as well. Both he and Merrick Pringle had trouble with wides and no balls at the start of the innings. 6 no balls, 9 wides, and that's already 15 extra runs and 15 extra deliveries, which is one reason that in fact South Africa are behind on their over rate, and the benefit of those 15 extra deliveries won't be seen because South Africa won't bowl all their overs.
Charged and got his back to it. Horse is coming through, just the single. It's disappointing in the final when you don't get your full 50 overs. You plan the game. They started 10 minutes late, but there was an extra 10 minutes taken out of the tea break. Official finishing time is 10 minutes past 6. It really does put pressure on England, who deserve to get their full 50 overs.
Well, England have realised for some time now that they were unlikely to get those full 50 overs, and they must have planned their batting accordingly.
Good hit, good clean hit down the ground. Just the single. 6 for 226.
And Merrick Pringle to continue. He's bowled his 8 overs very well for 28 runs, taking 2 wickets as well. He's going to be bowling to Chris Lewis.
South Africa not winning any fence here at the Sydney Cricket Ground by slowing down their overs bowled. It is a 50 over contest, and really they should be penalised. Something that they'll have to look at and look.
They maintained an average rate of round about 5 runs and over all the way through their innings. 1 or 2 ups and downs there. That's where the rate's always been.
Dermot Reid, he's in trouble. That's good running. He's going an injury too, Dermot Reid, but he's a good competitor. He's not happy, he's probably a bit sore, but he took him on.
That's right, he's had to go for it. He's come down the wicket in the first place. He's given himself a yard start. Not a very good throw in there from Mark Rushmere, wide, and no pace on the throw. It needed more accuracy and more pace if it was going to put Dermot Reid under proper pressure.
Chris Lewis, a big hitter of the ball. He's looking to go over the top here. Straight down the ground, well struck, but there's a man that went off very straight. That's the single. Good runs for England, David.
Everyone's vital. Chris Lewis, of course, will be aiming to see if he can find a gap somewhere else. He wants the odd boundary as well, just to boost this England total. But they won't complain. If they pick up a run of ball, they're doing okay. Anything on top of that, the odd 4, perhaps the odd 6 will be a bonus.
Good hit. Finds the gap. 4 runs. This will be in this time. Ashley Pringle shows the enthusiasm he's shown all day, really. He's very competitive. He was lucky he didn't get a ricochet there for extra runs.
He's just got back there, and if that ball had ricocheted off, he'd have been off for one very quickly. Good throw from Merrick Pringle. Dead on target.
Donald. Chipped away nicely through the gap. It's going to go all the way. Dermot Reid doing a great job for England.
Dermot Reid's timed this one very well also. No man at that gap. He split the 2 men at mid-wicket and mid-on. Hit this ball perfectly, and that's raced away again. That's 4 more very useful runs to England.
And Dermot Reeve doing exactly what he came in to do. He's messing around with the bowlers here, he's creating space for himself. And that's all England need, 4 runs.
Alan Donald is fast, but having accuracy is another thing here. He's going flat out still. He's 10th over. He's got him away again. No ball as well. Great play by Dermot Reeve. He went all the way out to the centre of the Sydney cricket ground. He knew time was going quickly for England. He's playing superbly.
Dermot Reeve did very well to get so much bat on this. Alan Donald dropped it in short, and as we know, he's by no means a slow bowler. Dermot Reeve had actually advanced on him. And again he finds the gap, this time over mid-wicket and wide of the man at deep square leg. That's two fours of successive balls.
This could well be the last over. It's taken so long to bowl with the runs flowing. It's gone again. That could be 6. That's a big long hit. Just bounces over the fence. Great over for England.
This is fabulous stuff for England. Dermot Reeve always had a very good look at Alan Donald in the nets at Warwickshire. And shake, rattle and roll there, enjoying every moment of this. It's another great shot from Dermot Reeve. Keeps his eye on the ball and watches it disappear like a long 3-iron.
Nice hit on the Sydney cricket ground too. It was only going over. Just bounced just in front of the fence and over into the crowd. Some great personalities in the crowd here at the Sydney cricket ground. The Doug Walter stand. This probably will be the last over. Here comes Donald. He's gone crash through mid off. He mightn't get this. The person's coming around. Yes, he will. Dermot Reeve timing the ball superbly.
Dermot Reeve having a real purple patch here.
And loving it.
And loving every moment. He's a good competitor, Dermot Reeve. Very useful all-rounder. Ideally suited to this sort of game and this sort of situation. And if you look at that strike rate, 183 runs per 100 balls, you can see he's doing a good job.
It's a bottom edge. 2 more surely. Brings up to 250 for England. Superb batting exhibition here at the Sydney cricket ground.
That was well bowled this time by Alan Donald. Right up in the block hole, clamping Dermot Reeve for pace, or for spacing. But even then he managed to squeeze the ball away for 2 more. This has been a very, very good over indeed for England.
Will be the last over. Clock showing 6:09 here at the Sydney cricket ground. 2 balls to be bowled by Donald, who's certainly taken his time going back to his mark. They've slowed the game down, South Africa. Prepared to sacrifice the opportunity of batting 50 overs themselves. Down to long on, so 1 ball remaining, still 6:09. Donald will walk slowly back to his mark. 17 runs off this over so far.
And the clock's just moved to 6:10 on the main scoreboard, so if that is a tactic, it's worked very well for South Africa. The last thing they would have wanted to see was another 17-18 runs coming from the next over.
And that's a rule that hopefully changed for the next World Cup. You can't have a side only receiving 46 overs in a lot of time. 45 overs, in fact. Let's pop that down to 1 on. Just the single. Look at the umpire, 6 for 252. And the players coming off the ground after 45 overs. That's a disappointing aspect. They only received 45 overs, but England have done very well. 6 for 252.
They're on their way with 2 runs to Wessels. From a cut shot. We saw so many cut shots in the England innings. And Chris Lewis just getting his left hand to it. is signalled a wide, Englishmen will feel that they've been hard done by with that one. Quite a few in the England innings from South Africa went on called, but there were a number of them which were called. In fact, the South Africans had great difficulty with wides. And that's another one. And England are not happy.
Ian Botham got quite a shock when he looked around and saw that that one was being signalled a wide. Lloyd Stewart not all that thrilled either. Wessels will be disappointed at missing that one. He loves the cut. Got the ideal delivery there from Ian Botham. Not the sort of player who really likes to go after the bowling right from the start, Kepler Wessels. Likes to work his way into an innings.
South Africa will be encouraged by events in Auckland yesterday when Pakistan got up and won a match needing slightly less than 5.62 runs in over, but a big asking rate for them, and they got up and won it. South Africa will know here as well that they can do the same thing. If they do, or even if they come close, we'll have a tremendous cricket match once more. The first semi-final was perhaps the best match of the competition so far. And it'll be over, no wicket for 4. Very loose delivery from Lewis, and put away for 4. And Hudson, his first shot, put away for 4. We'll look for 10. So there's the city of Sydney, or at least part of it, with the SCG there on the right. On the lights. Those lights certainly are giving Kepler Wessels enough for him to plant that one down to mid-wickets. Short ball from Ian Botham, and Wessels put it away very expertly.
We've got a few mimics in the crowd, all signalling 4. We've had a wide variety of signals from the umpires in this World Cup competition.
Certainly starting very well indeed. This is just the type of quick beginning they needed.
The crowd, as always, very observant, and they've been watching these umpire signals, and a few of them being mimicked there in the crowd. I reckon I saw a few of those fans dressed as Arabs imitating David Shepherd's little handshaking 4 signal.
Past the Freitas. So this is a very good start for South Africa, and England will be shaken by this.
Kepler Wessels isn't noted as an aggressive batsman, but the one thing that he is, a very good placer of the ball. And Kepler is such a determined young man that he's able to change his pace, and realising that South Africa need to get away to a quick start. He's on the lookout for runs. Doesn't pay to underestimate Kepler Wessels as a player. Don't want to pigeonhole him too much as a slow starter, because he can pick up his pace if needs be.
keen. They're not getting any joy from umpire Aldridge this evening. Called a couple of wides in the last over, which shocked them.
Ball just moving a little bit off the seam, and I think that would have worried umpire Aldridge. Lewis, I think, is trying to get the ball up into around about the ribcage area, round the leg stump, not give Vessels too much room outside off stump.
Vessels with this very closed face stance. And there he just opens the face of the bat there in playing the shot. Batsmen have different ways of standing and holding their bats in the stance, and you'll see from Kepler Vessels how closed his bat face is.
Yes, quite a few movements there. Then he opens the feet, you see, just as the bowler's about to deliver the ball, and then as Tony mentioned, as he was actually playing it, he just opened the face up so that he would place the ball exactly where he wanted it. But what we call a closed grip there. Face of the bat is quite closed.
That's the wicket that England wanted. Chris Lewis at backward point, straight to him. Kepler Vessels heading towards the umpire. I think he's left something in his safekeeping. No, what's happened is that he's going to stay out there because Peter Kirsten is going to come in, and Kepler Vessels is going to run for him, so he's going to stand over at square leg. So even though he's out, he's still in, if you get what I mean. So he's out for 17, it's 1 for 26.
It certainly wasn't a good delivery. Kepler Vessels would be really annoyed that he's hit that straight down Chris Lewis's throat. Right where he wanted him, short outside off stump. Every delivery pleases someone.
Oh, that's a great shot. My goodness, he just leaned on that. Magnificently played. Oh, that's crunched off the back foot this time. 4 more, so Lewis proving very expensive here, 1 for 38.
Peter Kirsten still hasn't got used to that runner. Every time he hits the ball, he's taking a couple of paces, and then suddenly the fact that there's a runner there clicks into gear and he stops running. Now, it's all very well and good to fine South Africa, but if the administrators don't understand the advantage that South Africa have gained in this situation, then I begin to wonder, because England have timed their innings, or paced their innings over 50 overs. Now South Africa are going to have the advantage of pacing their innings over 45 overs. Now that is quite an advantage to the team that has offended.
Outside edge and a desperate dive by Gary Small, but he can't make it, and it's a very hard fall there that he suffered. He does seem to be troubled. That's the last thing England want now, for another bowler to go down with an injury.
I'm just wondering if he rolled on the ball there. No, he didn't do that in making a dive. I thought he may have got the ball under him. So it must have just been the hardness of the fall. The fact that the outfield is so fast would suggest that it's quite hard. He certainly landed hard and high on the thigh there, the right thigh.
Well, that's a beauty. De Freitas has got the ball to move away from the bat. He's found the edge, beaten the outside edge this time.
Yes, he's started off with a terrific line and just getting the ball to move away. He's had 4 deliveries and he's immediately settled into a good line and length, Phil De Freitas, unlike the other England bowlers.
This is a very important spell for England. Fraser's not at all happy about his foothold. Dampened and the spikes just cutting through the surface. May want more sawdust. And gets it. Lots of things have changed in cricket. Astonishingly, what they put down to allow the bowlers and fielders a better foothold after rain remains sawdust as it was, I should think, 115 years ago. What a delivery! What a blow for England! De Freitas has been their best bowler, not just here tonight but in other games. Has removed the danger man for South Africa. The big scorer in this World Cup, Peter Kirsten.
Yes, De Freitas has beaten Kirsten that over on a couple of occasions, and there he just gets it to pitch middle and hit off. What a fantastic delivery. South Africa 2 for 61.
Tension here at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
Yes, here's De Freitas, he bowled superbly this over, and finally just got one to leave Kirsten, pitch middle, hit off, and that's what a fast bowler dreams about.
Tremendous pressure out there now. And both these teams, England, have pulled themselves together after South Africa got away to a flying start in their chase for 253. Now, Gooch has taken an enormous gamble. He's brought on Illingworth inside the 15 overs. With a wet ball. So Illingworth's not going to turn it. He may be cutting it back from outside the right-hander's off stump. But he won't be spinning it away from the bat, or I would think it would be close to impossible. Field down, third man is Gladstone Small. Must have been close. So, a second run to take on a fellow with a good arm. And it's not going to please either Gooch or De Freitas, or Small, I suppose.
This Gladstone Small's got a good arm here, and it's just a touch too high. Otherwise, he was really struggling. And that was a good bit of fielding there. Gladstone Small, he's got a good arm, and the South Africans have got to be careful if they take him on from the deep.
And De Freitas has done it again. Gone past that outside edge quite a number of times. Here's Bill Lawry, and with him is Tony Greig.
Thank you, Richie. Yes, Philip De Freitas has been the class bowler for England throughout this World Cup. He's got it right tonight. He's got his line right. He's got the leg cutter working. The ball going from leg to off, beating the outside edge of Andrew Hudson, who's batted very well here for South Africa. They were very much in this match. They know their target. They're striking well, just under 5 runs per over. And they've still got 8 wickets in hand. And he pulls it in the air, just wide of De Freitas. He's played 1 or 2 fine pull shots tonight, Hudson. That one not quite off the meat of the bat, but 2 runs.
All our viewers through Mnet will be really enjoying this contest, hoping to see their side through to the final in Melbourne. Good shot, that one. Nicely covered down there. They'll settle for 1. Yes, up in Hong Kong too. Prime Star taking these pictures. Settled into the ground, and quite a hard surface there. The ball's skidding over the top, straight back to the bowler. Illingworth doing a good job here. He's bowled well. They're going to have to take the initiative, I think. They're not going to be allowed. They shouldn't allow him to simply carry on the way he is. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Very close. That's got to be close. Yes, he's out. A beautiful piece of bowling. Forced him on the back foot. He went for the cut. It was the arm ball. And umpire Brian Aldridge doesn't give many LBs. He had a good hard look at that, and that's a superb piece of spin bowling.
Well, that was a lovely delivery. Just went on with the arm. Just a little skiddy out there. And I don't think there's any doubt about this. Hit him on the back leg and right in front of middle stump. And I don't know now, Bill, whether we're still at the same match, but I think you've got a problem, son. England made 252, and they're now 3 for 90.
Oh, superb delivery of the leg cutter. 7 overs, 1 for 27 for De Freitas. It's 3 for 92. Stewart's played a vital part for England in this World Cup. His keeping's been sharp. He's batted beautifully. And a very aggressive cricketer for England. South Africa need a boundary or 2 here. They're just going to fall behind the England run rate.
Boys, hit that down the ground. Could this be out? Yes, it'll be caught. No, it's going to be a huge 6. No, it's not. It's hit the screen. So that's 4. Don't worry about getting that one, Graham Gooch. A little unlucky, mind you.
Well, he wasn't unlucky. He was lucky. He hit the side screen because it would have gone over. They have to call 4 here. The umpires are conferring umpire Aldridge, probably new to Australian conditions. He will signal 4. You can't give the 6 that hits the side screen. It's inside the playing area. Well, this one's actually about 2 metres inside. 4 he signals. Correct decision. Boo, says the South African supporters, but that's the rule.
Yes, that's why I reckon he was unlucky. He just hit the bar up there, and it looked as if it was going to be 6 and bounced back, and Gooch went right after it. As he saw it down there, he thought, I better get this back.
Come on. Sweeps nicely. So Adrian Caper brings up the 100 for 3.
But, this year we'll have new champions who have never won the cup before. That's down the ground, catch it, they say, but it's hit too straight for that. Illingworth shouted as soon as it was struck, catch it, but it was absolutely straight down the ground.
Well, yes, both the fielders, the long off and the long on, well away from that. It's split Alan Lamb and Chris Lewis perfectly. It's a well struck ball, this, straight down the ground, as you can see there, straight towards the sight screen again and bouncing on top of the fence.
Adrian Caper with a big reputation as a hitter in South Africa. He said that very well. That was just a short arm jab, but he rarely got hold of it.
Glasser Small just strayed slightly down the leg side here with his line. Got very good contact. And that ball raced the boundary, split the 2 fielders again in the deep. Tucked him up for room a bit, but if you make proper contact, it doesn't really matter.
He's gone over the top. So Adrian Caper beginning to open out his shoulders, 2 successive 4s.
This is more like the Adrian Caper we heard the stories of. Successive boundaries there off Gladstone Small. Gladstone Small had bowled very well until then. But Capers flicked one to square leg, and this time he's gone over the top, over mid-off. And if Adrian Caper keeps up this sort of onslaught, that target's going to start to look fairly small again.
And he's gone again. So 3 successive fours to finish off the over from Adrian Caper in South Africa now. 3 for 128, a big over for them.
Adrian Caper just sizing up the field, probably deciding where he's going to try and hit the ball next.
Appeal for it. Aldridge is just going across to make the signal, but the only thing he raises is his leg, not his finger.
It's an interesting shout from Richard Illingworth and Alex Stewart. Adrian Caper got his leg a long way across in order to make room to try and get the ball round the leg side, but it needed the ball just to turn a little bit more, to straighten just a little bit more in order to get that decision.
He's gone with him. So Caper has gone, and that's a big wicket for England, because Caper looked very threatening indeed.
Well, that's well bowled, Richard Illingworth. He kept his head while Adrian Caper lost his. It was a wild, wild swing from Adrian Caper. He was aiming a long, long way back into the stands. The head comes up, the bells come off, and England are right back in this game again.
So Caper 36 from 44 deliveries, 4 for 131, South Africa.
But you'll see it's a huge swing. Alex Stewart quite happy that the ball's hit the stumps.
But he's hit that pretty well. He's gone over the top, and he started off with a boundary. And South Africa are 4 for 135 after 27 overs.
There's actually some very fine drizzle falling out of the sky here at the SCG tonight, but this game constitutes a game already. We've had the 25 overs needed in the second innings, so no problems with whether or not this game is going to be completed due to the weather tonight.
That's well struck and well placed. It's gone for 4.
There's a little mix-up here, but he'll make it. They're both pretty quick. It brings up the 150. It's going away fine. That'll get down to the boundary, or will it get cut off? Just got there. Gladstone Small, well fielded.
Putting in the big ones around there, particularly as he's had some leg muscle trouble in recent weeks, and then the lovely throw to finish it off.
As Richie Benno mentioned, the pressure that goes with a dot ball or a ball that's not scored off. Well taken, no, it wasn't. Fumbled. Just for a second it looked as if he got it. Will they come back for the second? Yes, they will. Good running. So that's then made up for the one they didn't score off.
And Gladstone Small well into his spell now. He's found his rhythm. He's coming in well. Good easy run. He's found his line and length. His 6.5 overs so far have gone for 27. Gone straight down to square leg. It's going to be out. It's well held, not a problem at all. Graham Hick, very, very safe hands indeed. Great big buckets of hands down at square leg. Gladstone Small has earned this wicket, and it's Hansi Cronje caught Hick, bowled Small.
Good evening, David. And this is quite a time to be coming into the position where Hansie Cronje is trying to get the boundary here, but he's headed straight to Graham Hick. That is a crucial wicket for England and for South Africa.
Still marshalling his troops out there at the SCG, taking all the time he needs just to make sure his fielders in the right positions. Quick word to Philip de Freitas out at deep mid-wicket as Ian Botham comes in. Rhodes squirts this away to third man. Gladstone Small in very quickly this time, but Rhodes back very quickly as well. That's very, very good running indeed. He's very quick. He's put the pressure on Gladstone Small and got the reward of 2 runs.
Yes, when Rhodes is running to the danger end, the fielder has to be extremely quick to actually prevent him from getting the single there. He's down the wicket to drive it, and Gladstone Small coming in to try and save that extra run, but Rhodes is through.
And they'll look for 2 again here. It's Chris Lewis, and they're paying him a lot of respect there, quite rightly so. Perfect throw in over the bails there to Ian Botham at the bowler's end. 71 still needed, 50 balls remaining. Oh, and a chance there for Alex Stewart. In the end, he's done very well to dive and stop it. Not quite sure if that came off bat or pad. Looks very much like bat, though.
Yes, that looked like an edge off the bat. McMillan just flicking it away, and Alex Stewart really getting across down to the leg side. Hitting his glove full on, and he should be.
They need Brian McMillan on strike at the moment. Jonty Rhodes, his partner. They're going to need to find a couple of gaps at some stage. Pakistan, when they were chasing New Zealand's big total yesterday at Auckland, had the happy knack of getting boundaries early in the over, which took some of the pressure off their batsmen, and that's what South Africa have failed to do over these last 10 overs. Nicely struck, but it's still only going to be 2. Finds the man at deep mid-wicket, de Freitas.
Yes, Inzi-Manoel.
Another 2 more. This time slightly wider of de Freitas, but he's got a good arm. He elects to throw to the bowler's end. You've got to be quick. Dermot Reed's throw there, underarm ineffective. Well, they need to score at 9 and over, and that's well bowled Ian Botham. Right up in the block hole with classical delivery at this stage of the game.
It looks as if Jonty Rhodes might have broken his bat, so he's going to have to get used to another bat. And hopefully it's a similar sort of weight.
Well, of course, all quality arise, but the piece of willow coming out to replace the original one is just as good. And he's still got a bit of time left. And South Africa with 6 overs, 5.5 overs to go, 6.5 overs to go, are still chasing this target of 253. He's hit that well. Philip de Freitas is the man after it. He's got a long way to carry down there. And finally South Africa have reached the boundary. The change of bat certainly working for Jonty Rhodes. There'll be 1 more. Tucked off the hip. South Africa with a stiff task still in front of them. And the 200 comes up for South Africa. 53 still needed to win this match. Jonty Rhodes, the man on strike, is 37 not out. And there'll be 38 not out, 39 not out. Coming back very quickly again for the second. This man is quick between those wickets.
It's Jonty Rhodes, just really crashes this one over cover to Illingworth. And Illingworth's got a good arm, throws it back, fine throw, but Jonty Rhodes is so quick between the overs. Here you see Illingworth come straight to him. There's Jonty Rhodes, exceptionally quick. He's got that second.
And Chris Lewis has now gone out to a deep spot there. It doesn't matter where he is this time because this has gone for 4. Jonty Rhodes has given himself space again. He's split the gap again.
This is what Reeve was doing at the end of the England innings. And Lewis was going over backward point, and Jonty gives himself a little bit of room and opens the face of the bat and cracks it in the gap there between third man and backward point. Uses the pace of the ball, 4 runs.
Gladstone Small gave the batsman room to work with there. And Jonty Rhodes took full advantage. You can see the fire in his eyes now. There's no better time to come good. Again he's gone for this time. Lewis is underneath, he's going to catch it. Chris Lewis very, very cool under pressure at deep point. If he moved out there 2 balls previously by Graham Gooch, and this time Jonty Rhodes failing to find the gap. He's caught Lewis, he's gone for 43.
Jonty Rhodes just clipped the ball before. Magnificent shot through backward point. There he attempts the same shot again. Hits it a little bit too square. And there's Lewis. Very cool customer there. Catches it easily. And so casual. 6 for 206.
Jonty Rhodes played a very brave hand out there tonight. But in the end, Chris Lewis in exactly the right position. Jonty Rhodes almost got too good a bat on this. The previous ball had squirted wider of the fielder, but this time straight down Chris Lewis's throat.
So that point, there he attempts the same shot again. Hits it a little bit too square. And there's Lewis. Very cool customer there. Catches it easily. And so casual. 6 for 206.
Gladstone Small. Brian McMillan glides the ball down to third man. De Freitas is the fielder. And this will bring Dave Richardson to the crease for his first ball. He's the man replacing. No run there. And at the end of that, South Africa 207 for 6. Jonty Rhodes played a very brave hand out there tonight. But in the end, Chris Lewis in exactly the right position. Jonty Rhodes almost got too good a bat on this. The previous ball had squirted wider of the fielder, but this time straight down Chris Lewis's throat. Very well positioned, hands high. Jackson and Rose, the 2 top scorers, 46 and 43 respectively. And Jonty Rhodes, 43. They're coming off only 38 deliveries. We're very much into the South African tail now. McMillan a bit of an all-rounder. Richardson can bat, but they're going to have to produce something special now. Chris Lewis is going to take over from the Paddington end. Ian Botham finished bowler for England. Very talented cricketer, very good fielder, very talented batsman. But now it's his bowling that's going to count for England. Oh, it's a bad misfield. Dermot Reeve completely misreading that. Able to... Dermot Reeve might just have taken his eye off the ball.
Yes, McMillan just clips this ball away and Dermot Reeve overruns it. Oh no, it hits, looks as if it might have hit one of those. Now it's Richardson to face Lewis.
Everyone comfortably down to Gladstone Small at third man. No John to
give the strike to McMillan.
Lamb's in very quickly. Not a great throw from Alan Lamb there. Threw the ball into the ground. No. Well, Richardson's going for it. And the field is in on the offside, mid-off is up. And Richardson aiming over that field, but failing to make contact.
It's Dave Richardson there, knowing that he's got to get boundaries. He's attempting to hit that ball straight, but he isn't quite in line. And it goes through to wicketkeeper Alec.
That's where we've covered the shot now. Gladstone Small again. He's worked very hard at third man. And new supporters down at third man right behind me. The look for two. It's De Freitas coming in very quickly, but McMillan comfortably back for 2 runs there. 6 off the over. At the end of the 41st over, so it's a big asking order. And to take over commentary now, it'll be Bill Lawry, accompanied by Ian Chappell.
Thank you, David. Semi-final. And South Africa really have to throw the bat at everything now. They've got 4 wickets in hand, 253 is the target. 4 overs to be bowled. McMillan, his 10th and final over. Richardson doesn't get that away. Misfield. Inside the circle.
Yes, the difference between this semi-final and the first semi-final, the short boundaries at Eden Park really kept the Pakistan side in the game, because there was always the opportunity of a 6.
That's where they'll be aiming. McMillan chips it down the line. He's quite deep. It's coming in quicker. They have to run. It's good running by Richardson. Crowd roaring here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Another great semi-final over. No one strikes that well. This time it's the brilliant Lewis. There's no 2 to him. Not a good throw, but well taken by the wicketkeeper Stewart. Pressure on all the players now and the umpires here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. And facing the... It's been a good contest, a 45-over contest. Richardson cuts down to third man, who's De Freitas. Misfield, but they're not looking for the second. Poor running by Richardson, who's limping.
Leg. It appears as though he's done something there.
McMillan on strike. Big, raw-boned fast bowler. Gets a short ball, he pulls it away. De Freitas is the fieldsman, just the single.
And Lewis outthought the batsman on that occasion. McMillan was coming forward, looking for something to drop.
Richardson cuts it, could be 4. Superb stroke. Beats the man at point. That's what was needed. Peter Kirsten, who's been a star for South Africa there on the right, jumps to his feet.
And you really do open up the options for the batsman if you pitch short.
Yes, the pressure on Chris Lewis. Richardson moves to 10. McMillan's 18. That's a good hit. That's going to be 4-2. Here comes Fairbrother coming around. He won't get it. Yes, he does. Superb save. 2 runs. Wow, great outfielding by Fairbrother there. He was desperate.
Richardson picking the slower ball there from Lewis. And he's keeping his head. He's got a couple of spots picked out where he's going to loft the ball. Really is playing this pretty well, Richardson.
There's no long on. This time he goes down the wicket and misfielded by the brilliant Lewis. The pressure showing here. In comes Lamb to give him some encouragement.
That's the last thing we need is rain, and it's probably not going to help bowlers. The last thing they want is slippery ball, the odd wide. They don't want to give South Africa any extra deliveries, and also the outfielders making throws. It'll be tough.
No one hits it straight. Fairbrother coming around. It's 2 more. Super over for South Africa. 10 runs off the over so far. It's starting to rain quite steadily here at the Sydney Cricket.
Put the brolly up in front of him. And now Gooch is walking in to have a chat with umpire Aldridge. And now the umpires are going to have a chat. And England are in front at the moment. As far as a reduced match, if we do, for instance, if we didn't get any more play, then England would be in front. 10:15 is the cut-off time.
It's starting to get quite heavy now. It's going to be very difficult for the umpires. They'll try and carry on if they can. They're having a word now to Captain Gooch, maybe giving him the option about whether he wants to play or not. Over they come, Gooch, their experienced cricketer. It's getting very, very steady here at the Sydney Cricket Ground, the rain. What a tense moment for both sides.
Well, the situation is we're in the 43rd over. At the end of 42, South Africa would need 251. At the end of 43, South Africa would need 252. While they're doing all this talking, they could be doing an awful lot of playing.
Well, there's Peter Kirsten. England will want to come off for sure. They've only got 45 overs, and they're coming off. A crowd will roar here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. It's certainly quite steady, a very difficult situation for the umpires. It's getting heavier by the second. The covers will come out, and this may be the end for South Africa in the second semi-final.
10:15 is cut-off time. So really there's still, if they were able to get back out there in, where are we? Another 8 minutes, you'd probably finish the overs without too much trouble.
Well, tremendous drama, it's a tremendous match here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The rain just easing slightly as Peter Leroy and his team get the covers out there. It's still raining quite steadily. Richardson and McMillan coming off slowly, and that's fair enough. The umpires really had no choice here, but it's getting quite steady. You have to be fair to the fielding side. McMillan and Richardson batting beautifully in those final minutes. There's the South Africans. There's the manager, Kirsten, Donald. You feel the adrenaline pumping there as the weather intervened and knocked South Africa out of the World Cup for '92. 28,000 people in. Great semi-final. There's former great Mike Proctor, the great all-rounder there, talking to the manager. They must feel sick in the stomach at the moment. South Africa so close, but maybe yet so far. As just the one cover down at the middle. What a dramatic moment in this World Cup. Not one person's going to leave the Sydney Cricket Ground. Tough assignment for the umpires. Umpire Brian Aldridge from New Zealand on the left, Steve Randell from Australia on the right. Who'd want to be an umpire in a World Cup? Covers are down. Peter Leroy there, the master groundsman. He suggested that it would only be a white drizzle. Well, it's only been white drizzle. The shower just come at a crucial time for South Africa as they were charging, hopefully towards victory. England will still win the box seat with runs on the board. How would you like to be captain of this? It's back into world cricket after exile 22 years. They've played brilliantly to reach the semi-finals.
It seems that they're not working on that particular line. They're just taking off the number of overs according to the time lost and reducing the overs of the side batting second. In this case, they've taken off an over according to the South African manager. Still this crowd just short of 30,000 waiting for the result. On the scoreboard, it's gone up that South Africa need 22 to win from 7 balls. They've been greeted by popular acclaim from the South African supporters. Brian Aldridge from New Zealand, Steve Randall from Tasmania. They're just passing on the information now to Graham Gooch. And Ian Chappell has some further information.
Yes, Richie, we've got a strange situation here because Alan Jordan has just come back to me and said that the umpires have come back to him and they've changed it to say that there is only 1 ball remaining. Although the official announcement was made just a moment ago that there are 7 balls remaining. So everyone seems to be a bit confused at the moment. But Alan Jordan is saying, well, not much point in them going out there. But as far as we know, it's only one ball. Alan Jordan has just signalled to me one ball remaining.
Right, well, it's McMillan and Richardson coming out now. McMillan on 20 and Richardson on 13. The rain has stopped. The scheduled finishing time of the match is 10:15. And in the commentary box, Bill Laurie and David Gower.
Thank you, Richie. Well, plenty of drama. I'm not quite sure why the South Africans would be complaining. They only bowled 45 overs themselves. South Africa back in world cricket after an absence of 20-odd years. They go down a very controversial final few minutes. There's Gooch. A disappointing end, really, to a great match.
Well, yes, but England have just had the edge through most of the match. I'll tell you one thing, that valuable contribution of Dermot Reeve at the end of England innings will be seen in its true worth now. Reeve smashed his 20-odd runs, 25 runs off 14 balls. And England took something like 17 runs off the last over they faced, which was a long over, time-wise, bowled by Alan Donald. Turned out to be the last over of their innings. Limited that innings to 45 overs. And what I think we ought to do at this stage is actually get on with the game. There's going to be one disappointed side, one very happy side. And the scoreboard finally confirming what we've thought to be true for some time now. South Africa need 22 runs off this one ball. Somehow, I don't think that's possible.
No, it's a disappointing end to a great semi-final, but that's the rules. The umpires can only abide by the laws for the World Cup. Disappointed Mike Proctor and Peter Kirsten. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say, and the England supporters will be delighted. But the disappointing end to a wonderful semi-final. In comes Chris Lewis to bowl the final delivery. It's pushed away to mid-wicket. You can see that all the players are disappointed with that end. The crowd will roar here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. So at the end, it's England and a disappointing finish to a wonderful match. Disappointed Brian McMillan, Kepler Vessels, the manager Ray Jordan there. The South Africans have played very well at the end. The weather beat them, and a very good defending performance also by England with the ball.
And certainly the game played in a very, very good spirit. All the players shaking their hands now. England have the privilege, the honour of going through to the final on Wednesday. A lot of friends out there. One or two players, of course, of the South African side that play in England. Some others that we know very well. And there'll be a certain sympathy from the English players for the South Africans over the way this game is finished. It's not going to be much consolation to that man there, Kepler Vessels. But England, the winners of this contest.
They will play in their third World Cup final. They've never won a World Cup. They've lost two before. So on Wednesday night at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, it will be England versus Pakistan. A very sympathetic round of applause for the South Africans. They played very well. But at the end of the day, the rules beat them. On the other hand, they only bowled 45 overs to England. They won the toss. They elected to bowl. And maybe in the end, that decision backfired on them.
Well, the South Africans, like the Kiwis at Auckland yesterday, deciding to do a lap of honour here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. And they're receiving a lot of very well-deserved applause. They've become very popular out here, the South Africans. They're wonderful sportsmen. They've got a wonderful sporting tradition.